Last year, my son was number 9. Number 9. That was before the end of the school year.
1 year after the shooting death of a 16-year-old near Patterson High School, his mother shares how this past year has been without him and why she says she's fortunate.
Maryland facing a budget deficit, and it could impact you. The extra fees being proposed in Annapolis that could hurt your wallet.
And we're getting ready for a very windy day tomorrow. I'll let you know how high the wind gusts get and when to expect a quieter and warmer pattern coming up.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
Fox 45 is following some breaking news right now out of North Baltimore, where a man was shot tonight. Police say it happened on Spalding Avenue at around 8:30. Officers say once they were on the scene, they found a 24-year-old man with multiple gunshot wounds. He was immediately taken to a nearby hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
All right, let's go ahead and take a live look outside. Fox 45 is continuing to track that weather maker we've been seeing pretty much all day that brought rain and even some high winds to the area.
Right now, it does look like the rain is finally starting to clear out, but will it stay that way for the rest of your weekend? We hope so.
I hope so.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Maxine Stryker.
And I'm Vincent Hill. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Jasmine Lomax to see what Sunday can bring.
Thanks, guys. It's going to be dry, so that's the good news, but very, very windy as we move forward. So you will notice the big change. We'll have the rain clear out overnight. Right now, we do have that wind advisory in place, but notice on the HD radar, most of the rain is starting to taper. A few showers possible into the night, but tomorrow we will return to that nice and dry pattern. Over the next few hours, our temperatures will gradually drop to the 40s, keeping us pretty mild. And then tomorrow, temperatures slightly cooler than average. When we factor in the strong winds, though, we're looking at wind chills only in the upper 30s, barely making it to the 40s. So you certainly want to make sure that if you have any loose belongings outside, anything that can be blown away, that you move it inside or tie it down. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at just how windy it gets in my Weather Authority forecast. Back to you.
All right, Jasmine, thank you. Put the power of the Weather Authority Storm Center in your hands. Download the free WBFF Weather Authority app for your smartphone and use our powerful Doppler radar to follow storms right down to your street. Just go to your app store and search for WBFF to get started. And if the storm affected parts of your neighborhood or made the most of the rainy day, we want to see about it. So go ahead and scan that QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you to foxbaltimore.com, where you can upload pictures and videos. It's all powered by Stackla. Many are raising concerns after leaders from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement say Safe Streets workers don't alert police or confiscate weapons when they find illegal guns. Mothers to get answers about who killed their child.
What we know right now is that this young male victim is in fact a student at Patterson High School. At this time, we're not releasing his name.
Say his name.
His name was Isaiah Carter, shot and killed outside of Patterson High School 1 year ago. His mother, Michelle Hines, sitting down with Fox 45.
Last year, my son was number 9. Number 9. That was before the end of the school year.
What's this year been like for you?
This year has been hell. It's literally been a whole lot of struggles and moments of PTSD with me trying to just grasp that it's really been a year. I am so pissed off. I'm angry.
Walk me back a year ago, March 6th. You get a phone call.
My reaction.
How did that go?
I got a call, an automated call from Baltimore City Schools saying that there was a school shooting near Patterson High. The principal followed up with a call telling me, oh, I'm sorry, did you hear about what happened to Isaiah? When I went into the school, a detective asked me who I was. I said, listen, before we get where we're going, are you about to tell me something detrimental like my child has been murdered?
There was an arrest made in your son's case.
Yes.
A lot of moms don't get that.
Right.
So talk to me about how you felt when you learned there was an arrest.
And I'm blessed because out of all of these moms, only a handful actually know who murdered their kids. Several of them are like, their child's case is a cold case now. No one cares. No one's following up with them. No police officers are calling. They're not even looking into it.
What do you want to see happen to the guy that killed your son?
I'm not a humble parent. I'm not one of those people who are forgiving and they can forgive the murderer. I want him to be buried under the jail. I want him to have life and then some more sentences.
What is Isaiah's legacy?
His legacy is one of love, one of friendship, one of kindness. And I hope that all of the people that he was able to meet, the ones who are younger, are able to remember him and say his name and share some of that positivity that he shared with them.
And Fox 45 has been hearing from grieving mothers for years, heartbroken over the loss of their children and calling for change. In 2021, 13-year-old Michaela Turner was shot and killed outside of a Baltimore recreation center. Her mother, Michelle Smith, sharing her pain with Fox 45 News.
I know I'm going to get justice for Malaya. I'm not going to let this be swept under the rug.
In 2022, 17-year-old Jasmine Bronson Jr., also known as Jay, was shot and killed during an after party for his junior prom.
I don't understand why this happened to him because I'm not going to say nobody deserves it, but I know for a fact my son didn't do nothing to deserve this.
And back in December, I spoke with Crystal Gonzalez. She spent months pushing for change to juvenile justice laws after her daughter, 18-year-old Aaliyah Gonzalez, was killed during the Brooklyn Day mass shooting last year. She also gave emotional testimony during a city council hearing on that shooting.
My daughter, Aaliyah, she's been all over the news, and every time I see her pretty face on the TV, I'm like, she's not supposed to be there.
You're not understanding that the laws are dictating what the culture looks like. Our laws set the precedent for what we see now. So again, it's mismanagement of resources, and you're allowing these kids to repeat offenses by laws that you put in place.
And 16-year-old Noah Gibson was Baltimore's first homicide of 2024. His mother talking with Fox 45, keeping her son's name alive.
Just to know, my son's name was Noah Ezekiel Gibson. And he was just a big heart. He was lovable, man. He cared about his family.
These family stories for years. You can find all of them and more on our website, foxbaltimore.com.
Well, Maryland is facing a major budget deficit, which could ultimately impact you. So tonight we're taking a closer look at bills on the table in Annapolis that may take a toll on your wallet.
In Annapolis, the estimated budget is bleak. Estimates have revenue down more than $250 million than previously expected. And while Senate President Bill Ferguson is adamant taxes aren't going up.
Yes, there will be places where Marylanders will see increased fees for targeted purposes.
Lawmakers are looking for other ways to bring in cash that will cost you. House Bill 1515 would lower the state sales tax rate from 6% to 5%, but would expand what you have to pay sales tax on, like accounting services, mechanics, dry cleaning, and even a haircut.
I think it's ridiculous.
With a $3 billion shortfall in the state's transportation budget, Delegate Mark Corman is proposing a 50-cent retail delivery fee for many items delivered to your home, and even Uber and Lyft rides.
It feels really, really small, but it shouldn't be overlooked, the effect that can have, and it feels strange that it's falling on the consumer and not the storefront.
And the price for tolls could also go up. House Bill 1070 would require the Maryland Transportation Authority to implement near optimal toll rates, increasing the cost on your commute.
There's no indication about what the increase is going to be, but there doesn't need to be one. What the state needs to do is prioritize transportation spending projects and not raise tolls.
And if you drive an electric car, you could have to pay a $100 surcharge in addition to your annual registration fee.
Instead of raising taxes, instead of raising fees, there needs to be fiscal discipline in Annapolis.
Well, lawmakers are still considering the proposed legislation for that sales tax bill. There will be a hearing this Monday.
Coming up on Fox 45 News at 10, new concerns surrounding the price tag attached to a controversial college initiative. A closer look at the back and forth happening across the country.
And after the break, a judge rules the 5 Brooklyn Day suspects will face 3 separate trials, while the defense is questioning the state's mounting evidence.
Attorneys representing the 5 defendants charged in the Brooklyn Day mass shooting are heavily disputing the charges and evidence the state plans to present in court. On Thursday, a judge ruled the defendants would be tried in 3 separate trials.
And Alexa Ashwell sat in on that hearing, and tonight she's taking a closer look at the evidence.
5 defendants, a combined 142 criminal counts, and now 3 trials. In court, the state outlining the charges against each defendant. Tristan Jackson and Aaron Brown, both facing multiple counts of attempted first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The 16 and 15-year-old juveniles, both facing multiple counts of attempted first-degree murder, but not conspiracy charges. And the 17-year-old juvenile facing 3 handgun violations. All 5 also facing riot charges. The state then presenting the judge with evidence the prosecution plans to use in court, including video footage from CCTV, body-worn camera, and social media, data and information from Jackson's GPS ankle monitor, a license plate reader, and jail call recordings, forensic evidence including weapons, ballistics, and DNA, and statements from the defendants. The state even connecting each defendant with specific shell casings recovered from various locations from the Brooklyn Day mass shooting, saying the weapons recovered were consistent with those ballistics.
It's all argument. They didn't charge him with it. You make of it what you will.
The attorney representing the 17-year-old charged with handgun violations after this video surfaced on Instagram questioned how his client is connected to shell casings when he isn't even charged with firing a weapon. The attorneys for Tristan Jackson and Aaron Brown argued the video evidence. Jackson's attorney saying there is no video of Tristan Jackson firing a weapon, and you cannot identify Jackson or any of the defendants in the videos. Brown's attorney saying you can't see them, they're specs. Brown admitting to firing a gun, but saying it was in self-defense, according to the state. John Cox, representing the 16-year-old defendant, said no evidence has my client with a gun and pointed out BPD's mistakes that day, questioning the riot charge. Warren Brown, who represents the 15-year-old who will be tried with Cox's defendant, also called the evidence sketchy.
What we have seen so far, the photos and the video footage that they speak about is really, you have to have your mind made up of what you want to see to walk away with that conclusion. So I think there's going to be, and that might be symbolic of the state's case. You know, it's close, but it's murky. It's not clear the way it should be before they ask for a guilty verdict when their standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. But we'll see how it unfolds.
Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Coming up, Project Baltimore finds video from a city school showing students trapped inside while a fire alarm goes off. What the principal is accused of doing that puts students at risk.
I'm Kayla Gaskins. Coming up, why a $20 million part of a public university's budget is sparking national conversations.
The amount of taxpayer money funding diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives is sparking national conversations as some states continue efforts to eliminate those programs altogether.
National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has more.
Controversial diversity, equity, and inclusion programs coming under intense scrutiny. The University of Virginia spending $20 million per year on the salaries and benefits of DEI-related employees. Information obtained through public records by the federal spending watchdog group opened the books.
We were surprised at how deeply embedded The philosophy of diversity, equity, and inclusion is at the University of Virginia. It's embedded in everything that they do.
UVA's Global Chief Diversity Officer, Martin Davidson, receiving nearly $600,000 per year in salary and benefits. Last Friday, the University of Florida eliminating all DEI positions on campus, reallocating the $5 million DEI budget to other areas. The announcement sparking praise and criticism. Former NFL player and Florida Gator Emmitt Smith responding on X, writing, "I'm utterly disgusted by UF's decision." Sports commentator Stephen A. Smith jumping in.
When you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, let's make sure we understand a couple of things that are incredibly imperative to bring up. How about history? What's wrong with diversity?
UF complying with a state law signed nearly a year ago by Governor Ron DeSantis, banning state schools from spending federal or state money on DEI initiatives. A VP and Chief Diversity Officer at Johns Hopkins Medicine resigning this week after a controversial post on privilege. Dr. Sharita Golden apologized for the post. The hospital system plans to replace her. In Atlanta, a private equity group is being sued for a grant they only give to Black female business owners. The lawsuit calls the program racially exclusionary.
Recent polling shows a majority of Americans support workplace DEI initiatives, but opinions are deeply split along party lines. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
Still ahead, some troubling video shows students and staff trapped during a fire alarm with the door pad locked shut. The response from city schools after Project Baltimore exposed this safety violation.
TikTok users angry with Congress over a bill that could get rid of the app in the United States. I'm Atrell Nashar on Capitol Hill with whether that's making lawmakers change their minds.
And showers continue to taper, but tomorrow we're left with very windy conditions. I'll let you know how high the wind gusts get coming up in my Weather Authority forecast.
A Baltimore City school principal could face fines after Fox 45 exposed emergency exits in the school were actually padlocked.
As Project Baltimore's Chris Papps explains, video from inside the school shows a fire alarm sounding and students and staff unable to get out.
December 4th, 2023. 9:28 a.m. A fire alarm sounds at the Reach Partnership, a charter high school in Northeast Baltimore. This is video Fox 45 obtained from inside the school. You can hear the fire alarm going off, but students and staff cannot get out of the building because, as this picture shows, the emergency exit was padlocked shut. Eventually, an office employee arrives with a key to remove the padlock and let the students and staff exit the building.
All exit doors should be freely operable with no hindrances whatsoever.
Kevin Cartwright is with the Baltimore City Fire Department.
This can certainly create a life hazard issue for the students, teachers, and administrators.
But Project Baltimore has learned this is not the only door in the school that has been padlocked. The door in the video is located in stairwell A, but we can see in this picture that the door in stairwell B is also locked shut. Sources tell Project Baltimore these locks were installed on the exit doors in September of 2022. A year and a half ago. The two doors are located on the side of the school, facing Harford Road. You can see from the outside the bolts used to secure the locks. Sources say they were installed to prevent people from entering the school with drugs or weapons.
Having those concerns for individuals walking into the school who don't belong in the school can pose a hazard and a threat to those students as well. However, they have to maintain compliance.
According to OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, no lock or fastening to prevent free escape from inside of any building shall be installed except in mental, penal, or corrective institutions where supervisory personnel is continually on duty. In other words, the locks on these doors are unlawful. Cartwright says, pending an investigation, the school administrator could be fined by the state. Project Baltimore last week reached out to Baltimore City schools about the locks on the doors and the safety hazard they present. The district replied in a statement, "The safety of our students and staff is vital. The use of padlocks on doors is a safety violation, and the units at Reach have been removed."
Baltimore City Schools confirm a teacher has been suspended.
But padlocked exits are not the only problem at Reach.
It's a case you saw first on Fox.
Last month, Fox 45 reported that a math teacher at the school, Mustafa Pitts, was arrested and faces several charges, including second-degree rape, sex abuse of a minor, and assault. The alleged victim in the case is not a student, but a source at the school tells Project Baltimore that last year, school officials did receive complaints that Pitts made inappropriate comments to students. City Schools has not confirmed the allegation of the inappropriate comments, but said in a statement that immediately after Pitts' arrest, he was placed on administrative leave from his position at the Reach Partnership School.
But as all this was happening, as doors in the school were being unlawfully padlocked and a teacher was arrested and charged with rape, the principal of the school was being honored. Last week, Reach's principal, James Gresham, was named a finalist for the Heart of the School Award, which honors Baltimore City's Principal of the Year.
In its statement to Project Baltimore, City Schools said it will install security cameras at the doors that were padlocked in an effort to secure doors at the school in a permissible manner to prevent unauthorized access. But remember, these doors were padlocked a year and a half ago, which Cartwright says adds to the problem because the locks were not removed until after a source contacted Project Baltimore.
That certainly, could raise some concerns, having them on for that duration of a time.
Project Baltimore will stay on this story, but in the meantime, we want to hear from you. Are you a parent at Reach or any other school where you feel there's a safety concern? Call our hotline, send me an email, find us on social media, or head to foxbaltimore.com to follow our progress. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
Well, Maxine, I don't know about you. I've been stuck in this building since noon, but looking out the window, there was a lot of rain, wind.
A lot of rain
all
and
that
wind,
good
really
stuff.
heavy at some times.
Yeah, really
just
heavy.
said, Jasmine, this keeps happening on the weekends, not during the
Oh
week.
my gosh, it's like the worst time on Saturday, the middle of the weekend.
Well, for us, we're working, so,
Well, it means we have to drive in it. So
exactly.
Never fun to drive in the rain, especially when we have the combo of the wind. Tomorrow we get rid of the rain, but unfortunately it's still going to be very windy. In fact, we could have some stronger wind gusts